Excited to be able to talk to you guys today. We got day 5 today. We've had a really good first 4 days of practice, 2 days with shoulder pads on, where physicality of it has come in, which has been really good. In the summertime, they can do a lot, but you really don't have a chance to get off blocks and tackle. And toughness is always going to be the foundation of our defense. And we put some good things on tape the last 2 days to make us feel good about where we're at. One of the most encouraging things up to this point has been the development of our team from the 15th day of practice in the spring to the first day of practice in the fall. You can really tell how our guys, when we weren't able to be around as coaches, have taken ownership of the defense. Our football IQ is much better. We're in a much better place than we were on the 3rd Saturday of April than we're at today, and that's been really encouraging as coaches. As we're getting ready to get this thing going with a heck of a September schedule ahead of us. Questions? Yes.
What's been the biggest challenge for those highly rated guys like Jamal Peters and Leo Lewis, guys that seem pretty close physically there, but are they hitting the wall mentally in these first few days?
Well, it's just there's 2 things going on. One, they have to learn what we're doing, and then the nature of the word defense, you have to defend something, and we're going up against really one of the most complicated offenses in the country, where with every formation in the book, every running play in the book, all kinds of different pass concepts. So for any freshman coming in at any point, it's obviously a struggle. I don't know if they've hit the wall yet. I think the guys have been battling pretty hard to try and stay afloat, and beyond them, for an entire freshman class, just again, the 2 days with shoulder pads on, the entire freshman class, there's about every one of those guys has really stood out. Every one of those guys has done something already on tape to make us very excited about their future.
Dan talked a little bit about his progression as a coach since your last time here, and your progression as a coach since your last time here. How would you say that you've changed, or what things are you doing different in this stint as opposed to last stint, maybe?
Well, I think you're always having to evolve your scheme as the game is evolving. So there's always little tweaks in terms of what happens in the X's and O's, but that's probably not the most important thing. Probably the most important thing is just no different than in life. You get older, and the things that you know that are important, that you know that you have to be successful. I think you become a little more stubborn and a little more demanding of making sure that those things, in terms of what it makes for an organization to be successful, that those things are in place, and we can never compromise on those values of what it takes to, whether it's play great defense or run a great company.
You said that the defense is obviously better than the 15th practice in the spring. When you're looking at it to see the improvements, what stands out? What are you looking for that shows that improvement?
Well, you can just see it in the confidence of our kids. We're rarely beaten before the snap. There's 2 things: you can get beat before the snap and after the snap. After the snap, you may not be able to control. Maybe the other guys are better than you. But for sure, we can control being beaten before the snap, and that's just the way that you're lined up, where your eyes are, anticipating maybe what play is getting ready to come. So our guys are, that's where the football IQ side of it comes in. So not just in terms of learning our scheme and where they go based off of whatever. Everybody. Can something really be exclusive for everybody? That's sort of a contradiction in terms.
Sounds off.
But so not only are we learning what we're doing, but just learning how to defend offense, and understanding why is this guy lined up here? What is the offense trying to do to us? So we're not out there just guessing what's happening play to play.
Coach Mullen kind of touched on it, but obviously from your perspective, you see it a little bit more so the addition of Diaz and Kendrick back there in the secondary where you didn't have them in the spring.
It changes us. It's such a difference having those 2 guys back. And before we even get into what they do as a player, just their personalities, their leadership, their toughness, it's like inserting, everybody else moved out of spot. It's like, I like to use other sports references, it's like adding a guy in the 4 and 5 hole in your lineup, and the guy that's batting 4th is now batting 6th. So your production all around the lineup has really changed by adding both those guys in. So that's another reason why I think we're a little bit of a different animal than maybe we were in April. they're off to a great start.
You lose B-Mac and Wells off the linebacker group last year, but still, Coach Miller pointed out there's still numbers and still guys that play reps. What have you seen from that group? And you mentioned to me a couple of weeks ago that competition being wide open is one of the biggest things that you were looking forward to camp.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with the numbers of guys that I think can contribute to our football team in the linebacker room. Certainly early on, the guys that have played the most, are obviously going to be the most comfortable. Beniquez Brown is picked up right where he's left off. He's off to a good start. His understanding of the game has probably slowed down for him a little bit more than it has for the other guys. Richie Brown right beside him is doing really good things. Zach Jackson, I think, is as he was in the spring, he's got a different sense of urgency about his game right now. You can tell that, this is his last time through, and he's got high goals and high aspirations for what he wants this year to go like. And then beyond him, it's been really fun. Des Harris was a guy that, we didn't get a chance to see in the spring, and he's out there running around doing some good things. Your JT Grays and Gary Greens. We've got a lot of potential. Dre Ward is in the mix, and then you have the young guys, Trevor Jung coming in, Leo Tim. We have all kinds of guys competing for those spots, and that competition will go right up to day one and the game one, and that competition won't end because who is best to play on September 5th may not be the best on October 5th or November 5th, and our whole goal is to be playing on December 5th. So to me, I think those guys understand that it is wide open. What position that they're playing when you see them out there on the field today is irrelevant. I told them we have about 2 weeks to try and figure out who the top 6 are to get them ready for the first game. And if it's 3 Sams and 3 Mikes, then 2 of them are going to have to play Will. If it's 1 Will, 2 Mikes, and 3 Sams, and we're going to play. We're going to get our best 6 guys ready to play, and then go from there.
When you first got here, you had a lot of talent. I think most of your linebacker room went to the NFL. How different is this group? You mentioned trying to find the top 6. Do you feel like this group's possibly deeper and more talented in that group?
It's curious it's funny how when we talk about the 2010 defense, a lot of the reflections have now been through the course of time. Where back at that time, certainly KJ and Chris were seniors, but a lot of those other guys were freshmen or redshirt freshmen. So they weren't NFL players back then. So by the same vein, it's kind of hard to predict some of these younger guys and where they're going to go. I do know for a fact that we're certainly deeper now than we were then. We certainly have more. We certainly have more game experience than we did coming into that year. When coming into that year, all we had that had played was Chris and KJ because we lost Jamar Chaney. We were sitting here this time that year talking about how you're going to replace a guy like Jamar Chaney in the middle of that defense, and Chris going from Will to Mike, and KJ going from Sam to Will. So that's just the nature of it. The guys after I left, Skinner and Cam, those guys went on to have great college careers, but I think there's guys in this room that I think they have those same goals, and I don't see any reason why they should be able to achieve that.
Coach, you already hit on this a little bit, but how have the past experiences forged to the coach you are today from maybe when you were 5 years ago?
Well, I think in any profession, I think we're always learning. The great thing about coaching in this conference, because every day you wake up and you feel the competition. Every day you wake up and you just feel the SEC West. And so you have to come to the office every day and find something to do it better than you did it the day before. So I think we're always evolving as coaches. I think we're always evolving as people. I think the day that you think you have it figured out is a day that everybody speeds by you. So it's been neat. It's been neat to be back in this program. It's a program that I think is, you can see the results in terms of what it's done in the 4 years I've been here and where it's gone. And our whole situation now, our whole expectation now is to continue to improve. We're not done. Our standard, if there's only 2 things. Look, we're either going to find a way to be better, or we're going to accept the fact that we can be worse. You're doing one of it. We're doing one or the other. So we might as well find a way to be better. Otherwise, we're just going to hide behind the excuse that it's okay to be worse. So that is our whole battle cry at every level in the program. We got to find a way to push it to be better.
Manny, Dan talks about Dak needing to improve his accuracy and decision making. The pass defense last year, the struggles have been well documented. How does that dynamic feed off each other? The cornerbacks making Dak better, and then Dak making the cornerbacks better.
Well, there's a couple things there. One, when we speak of pass defense, there's a lot of ways to measure pass defense, and most of them are highly, highly inaccurate. If you're a really, really good team and you're whipping people, you're going to give up a lot more passing yards than you are running yards because they're behind and they have to throw. Okay, it'd be curious to go look back, because I have, and look at yards per attempt. Okay, yards per attempt is a much more accurate, because if someone's going to throw for 350, but they got to throw it 45 times to get there, then maybe they're not having quite as good a day throwing as it seems. But you're going to be at the bottom in terms of pass defense. Our run defense and our pass defense have to both be much better. Okay, and our kids know that, and they understand that, and they were good. But everything we have has to be better. That's our whole mentality. This is a really, really good defense, so it's quite a challenge to improve it. What's great is having a guy like Dak Prescott they go against every day in practice, and our guys understand that. When we get Dak to clutch the ball, when we get Dak, Dak's a guy that can go through his progression. Dak's a guy, if we can deny it the first look, he can go 2, 3, 4, and down the line. Not every quarterback we play this year will have that ability to do that. So our guys know. I would hope from Dak's standpoint, I think we're making ourselves harder to throw the football against, but we won't win a game if we're easy to run the ball against. Won't win a game. So before we do anything, we still have to be solid versus the run. If you're solid versus the run, we can make it harder to throw on people. But if they can run it when they want to, they can throw it when they want to. Not because they have to.
Anything else? All right.